It's difficult to grasp how a single instant can unravel everything you believed was steady. Yet that's exactly what unfolded one evening when my wife's attempt at humor became the crack that shook our marriage at its core. What began as a cozy, cheerful gathering in our home turned into a night neither of us will ever forget. Friends were scattered around the room, dishes of food passing from hand to hand, laughter bubbling as stories flowed without pause. I leaned back on the sofa, savoring the ease of the moment, certain nothing could disturb the harmony. But life has a way of turning the smallest spark into an inferno. One of her friends tossed out a harmless joke about men and their delicate egos, the kind of remark usually brushed aside with a laugh. But then my wife, wine glass in hand, chose to push the joke further. With a sly smile, she leaned back and said, "Some guys have every reason to question themselves. Not everyone measures up, if you know what I mean." The room froze for a heartbeat. Her words, sharp and deliberate, were aimed directly at me. Her eyes locked onto mine as if to ensure the sting landed. Then she laughed, a sound that pierced deeper than the words themselves. Her friends followed with uneasy laughter, the kind that wavers on the edge of discomfort but escapes anyway. I sat paralyzed, my thoughts colliding in chaos. The woman I had trusted with my life had just stripped me bare in front of our closest circle. The betrayal was like the ground vanishing beneath me. For a moment, I considered swallowing the pain to protect the evening. But something inside me ignited, unwilling to let her words define me. I leaned forward, met her gaze, and with calm but cutting precision replied, "Maybe I'm ordinary. But when the playing field is as vast as yours, any average athlete is bound to look small." The silence that followed was suffocating, lasting only a split second before the room burst into laughter. Her friends doubled over, some covering their faces as they laughed uncontrollably. My response hadn't just deflected her jab, it had turned the entire moment against her. Her smile dissolved. Color rushed to her face, not from wine, but from a humiliation so raw it seemed to radiate outward. Tears welled in her eyes, and before anyone could speak, she bolted upstairs, slamming the bedroom door behind her. She didn't come back down that night. Her friends tried to patch the mood with forced small talk, but the evening was already broken. I sat there outwardly calm, though guilt churned inside me. Part of me hated striking back so hard, but another part insisted it was the only way she could feel the weight of what she'd done. I couldn't be the silent husband who quietly absorbed the blow. The next morning, the house was silent. She hadn't joined me in bed, and I assumed her anger lingered. When she finally came downstairs, her eyes were swollen, her face pale and exhausted. She sat across from me at the kitchen table, hands trembling around her coffee cup. The silence stretched until she whispered, "I'm sorry." I waited, unsure whether her words carried true remorse or were just an attempt to smooth things over. Her voice cracked as she continued, "I didn't realize how cruel that sounded. I thought it was just a joke. But when I saw everyone laugh, I realized how it must have cut you. And when you turned it back on me, I felt that same sting. It showed me how far I went. I'm ashamed for humiliating you like that." Tears streamed down her cheeks as she looked away, her voice barely audible. "You didn't deserve that." I listened, torn between relief and the ache still lodged inside me. Her vulnerability was genuine. She finally understood the depth of the wound. But the memory of her mocking me, her friends' laughter echoing in my ears, was carved into my mind. We spoke for hours that morning. She swore she never meant to tear at my confidence, that it had been a careless attempt at humor. I explained how words like hers, especially in public, cut deeper than she could imagine, leaving marks no apology alone could heal. She nodded, haunted by the memory of my face when she made that joke. That night changed us. It wasn't only about a thoughtless jest. It was about boundaries, about respect, about realizing that the person you love should never be the one who tears you down in front of others. She now knew the sting of humiliation herself. And I learned the importance of standing up for myself, even when it meant exposing raw truth. Looking back, I don't feel pride or victory. It wasn't about winning. It was about affirming that respect in a marriage isn't optional. It's the foundation. Once broken, no apology can fully repair it. She wept as she promised never to cross that line again. But the memory remains with us both, a quiet scar that time and words cannot erase. Perhaps that's the real lesson. Sometimes you must feel the pain you've caused to truly understand its weight. A careless remark can carry devastating force. And once spoken, words can never be taken back.